Hello. We're reading No Rights to an Honest Living. I don't know if this one's behind the paywall or not, but if it is, thank you for supporting. Even if it's not, thank you for supporting the channel. Um, I can't keep up. I'm reading 2 books, and I'm about to go pick up a third. I'll be reading from 3 books, trying to archive as much information as I can because I'm not getting any younger, and the body is breaking down. So let's keep going, right? The least I can do is my part. Some outspoken Black Bostonians also use their workplace to make an explicit political statement about the Fugitive Slave Act. Henry Whedon owned a tailor shop on Franklin Avenue. He served as president of the NEFA and helped to organize opposition against segregated schools and annexation of Texas. One day in December 1850, a customer, Watson Freeman, entered Whedon's shop carrying an overcoat that needed to be repaired. Freeman was one of 6 U.S. Marshals in Boston appointed by President Franklin Pierce to enforce the new law. Whedon sent Freeman a letter explaining why he refused to mend the coat. Principle first, money afterwards. Let me say that again. This is what he said. 1850. Newly free slave. Principle first, money afterward. You ain't gonna never hear a black person say nothing like that in your life. Trust me. Outraged by a comment Freeman had made about his own eagerness to abide by the letter of the new law, Whedon wrote, "Though a poor man, I crave the patronage of not being that would volunteer his services to arrest a fugitive slave, or that would hang 100 niggers for 25 cents each." This is the principles of somebody. Right now, today, it's 4:42, so they're probably still out there. There are black folk wearing Free Diddy t-shirts for $20 an hour in Manhattan, walking around with the t-shirts on. And y'all gonna tell me black people got better? Nah, I know better. Other black Bostonians used their professional skills to aid individuals and groups fleeing slavery. The prominent attorney Robert Morris, the grandson of a man captured and enslaved in Africa, did legal work for some recent arrivals forced to sort out thorny family relations in the North, but unable to afford a white lawyer. During the 1850s, his clients included a woman who sued a man she claimed was her husband for support. He defended himself by arguing that she was a fugitive, and as an enslaved woman, could make no demands upon him. Morris also represented Lewis Howard, a fugitive carpenter from Richmond, and his wife, Nancy, in the sensational Ellen Starr case of the late 1850s. The couple sought to adopt the formerly enslaved girl against the wishes of a man claimed to be her grandfather. Morris found his clients' legal difficulties to be a source of personal income, though his pay for such services at times came in the form of their gratitude, not cash. All sorts of workplaces proved to be sites of resistance to the Fugitive Slave Act. By cooking and washing clothes for the freedom seekers, wives and daughters played a prominent, if largely unheralded, role. Indeed, it is notable but not surprising that women were absent from the podium on October 4th, though they were in the audience applauding and cheering on the speakers. The peons to manly resistance and the rights of free men made the meeting, like other formal protests in Faneuil Hall and Tremont Temple, and a decidedly masculine enterprise. I'm gonna show you a picture of Robert Morris. we always looked more dignified back then, but everybody did. Well, I shouldn't say everybody did, but most people tried to, at least. Within weeks of the protest meeting, federal officials were on the hunt for the famous fugitive married couple William and Ellen Crabb, now hidden away by members of the BBC and others attendants and others, the BBC and others. Attendants at local churches included most notably 12th Baptist, which included many escaped enslaved workers among its congregants, fell precipitously as some members stayed away from public spaces and others headed to Canada. 15 families migrated from Boston to the small town in Biddulph Township in southwestern Ontario. As hundreds in hiding found themselves no longer beyond the reach of bloodhounds, Black Bostonians embraced the roles of picket and scout, posting notices of slave owners, agents newly arrived in town, and urging the use of guns and knives as weapons of individual and collective self-defense. One day in mid-March 1856, an enslaved woman named Rebecca Robinson Jones and her 3 daughters, aged 6 to 9, stepped off a Norfolk, Virginia dock and onto the deck of a schooner captained by Alfred Fontaine. Unlike many other fugitives, the 28-year-old mother wore no disguise, and she boldly ushered the children onto the boat with her. Later, William, still an Underground Railroad conductor in Philadelphia, remembered that she firmly resolved to be the slave of no master, nor to allow her 3 interesting children to grow up in slavery. Jones's decision to rely on Captain Fontaine carried its own risk. He was well known to Norfolk authorities as a committed abolitionist who had transported many runaways to freedom in the North. The November before, he had bluffed his way out of a tough spot with the Norfolk mayor, who together with a posse of officers had boarded Fontaine's vessel in search of stowaways. In a show of bravado, the captain seized an axe and vigorously began to chop a hole in his own deck, a ploy to convince the startled onlookers that no one was secretly below. Satisfied, the mayor and his entourage departed the ship, and Fontaine sailed off with 21 men and women hidden underneath a cargo of wheat stowed in the hold. Get some water. William Still, considered an uncommonly courageous woman, a true-born heroine, and tellingly, once in Boston, she kept her name and found a job right away. Back in Norfolk, her owner offered a $150 reward for her and her daughters, yet it took a great deal more than raw courage to escape by water from the Virginia Peninsula. It took money. The quest for freedom was a serious business, the cash changing hands several times over. Jones had used the service of Norfolk's mysterious Dr. Harry Lundy, sometimes identified as a doctor and sometimes as a dentist. An illiterate free person of color, Lundy employed a scribe who took care of his correspondence and forged papers. The routine charge per clandestine passenger was $25, about $800 in today's money. Most of those who availed themselves of Lundy's services were men who had hired themselves out or otherwise earned enough to afford passage. Lundy kept some of the fee and paid his helper, and Captain Fontaine received a share as well. On board, members of the crew might demand an additional fee, a bribe, pushing the price of liberty even higher. Still, Lundy was a miracle worker for those determined to journey to Boston, and for those Bostonians who wanted to bring loved ones north. The week Before Rebecca Jones made her dangerous voyage, her brother Isaiah Robinson had escaped to Boston. The many refugees from Virginia lived there, encouraged and enabled others to follow. In, Re- in Rebecca, in October, Rebecca wrote to Still from the Parker House in Boston, a new hotel catering to a wealth clientele. She was probably living there while working as a domestic. In a few years, she would marry William Riley, 2 years her junior, who worked alternately in the city as a laborer, a jobber, a barber, and a porter. Riley's father was part of a cohort of Brattle Street clothing dealers who lived and worked near each other, and his family sheltered fugitive slaves, as did their next door neighbors, the Haydens. I'll stop there. One of the things that, we don't have to do it, but if black women want to not die lonely, you're gonna have to recognize that the black instability that you see there, where we have to work all these different things. Technology helps us to be able to do certain things, but what was the traditional workplaces is really breaking down and becoming automated. So all of the little hustle jobs, especially if other black people don't support it, is gone. And we have to deal with that some kind of way. And we have to figure out how we're gonna do it, us as men, and the women have to figure out if they're going to accept it. They don't have to. They can still hold to the high value man standard, and search for something that doesn't exist, but it's their choice. No Right to an Honest Living by Jacqueline Jones. Can you see the name? There you go. Use this information in your life and try to be safe out there.